Happy Saturday evening. Tamira Hamilton here. I am so excited to talk about winter arc. It is 1/1/125/111/25. And, January can be a rough month, right? It can be a rough month for a lot of people. It has historically been a rough month for me. And so over the years, I have developed my own approach to January and the winter arc so that it is my glow up season, so that it is my time to get back to myself, right? Because after the holidays, we all are kind of discombobulated, right? I'm near the Milwaukee General Mitchell Airport, and they have this recombobulation area after you go through the scanners and all of that, the security, right? So I love that sign that says recombobulations, right? So January is your opportunity for recombobulation, right? And so this past December was not only the holiday season for a lot of us, and let's face it, whether or not you celebrate all of the holidays, thank you so much for the love. Keep the love coming. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Even if you don't necessarily celebrate those holidays, if you own any type of business, for example, it still can be a stressful period of time for you. There are people who may not religiously celebrate the holidays, but they still participate and partake in certain aspects of the holiday. So again, come on in. Let me know where you're watching from. My name is Tamira. I am actually going to be 15 years old in a couple weeks. Actually, I'm kidding. Reverse those numbers around. And that is how old I will be. I had a milestone birthday in 2024, turned the big 50. And so it will be my 51st birthday. And one of the things I can tell you in recent years, I have, like I said, taken winter arc very, very seriously. 2022, and I started a whole supplement regimen, really got in tune with my star player. In January, my reset, I love to get into myself, return to self with journaling, with personal development, with spiritual development, and it has fared well for me, right? So in 2022, I started a whole supplement regimen, and it was going great. Let me tell you, my numbers were looking the best they had looked in 30 years. Like, I'm talking like BP, the lowest it had been, not in 30 years, since I was 30, right? I was approaching 50 with a BP that looked like it did when I was 30, right? So that was a combination of diet. That was a combination of stress reduction. That was a combination of supplement regimen and working out with a very good personal trainer. So it was all of those things together. And then the company that I was getting my supplements from decided to play with their inventory. They decided to play fake scarcity. Okay, they decided to play fake scarcity, and it would cost me so much more to get the supplements that were a part of my regimen and giving me the results that I needed. Now, the supplements were so good that even without having some of them for several months, I still continued to look good, to feel good, and have the proof in my lab work when I went to the doctor, right? So I can tell you that your winter arc, if you are looking to glow up, that is when you do 75 hard, 75 soft, whatever it is that you choose to do. January, February, March is a great time to do it, right? And for me, it was never about vanity, even though I like to look good, okay? It was about my health, right? It was about my health. I have 2 beautiful grandchildren, 2 beautiful adult children that I want to be here for. I missed a lot. Sorry, I've got the NeuroGum in because it's 9 o'clock and I tend to sleep really well when I take my supplements. And so I popped in the NeuroGum I love this neural gum. So I've got it in my mouth, and I know it's horrible. You shouldn't chew, but this stuff is awesome. It's got the L-theanine in there, the B vitamins. So you get that balanced energy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm alert. I'm focused, because that's one of the things when you get my age, especially if you have any of the pauses, peri or meno, you get a little bit of brain fog, right? You get some lack of energy. You get sleep disturbances, and this really helps with the brain fog. Okay, it helps with focus and clarity and energy, and it's no crash energy is what I love. I've never taken an energy gum before, but this stuff is really good. I give it, like, if you were like in my city and we were at like the same event, like, I would definitely, when you were like complaining about being tired, I would definitely offer you a piece. My youngest daughter, I gave her some. She absolutely loves it. Absolutely loves it. She actually came by earlier and grabbed some more from me. So it's vegan, it's aspartame free, sugar free, and gluten. It has, I've got a 180 count bag. It's got 2 grams of sugar alcohol, so that's 2 grams of carbs. There's no calories listed, so it's got vitamin B6, vitamin B12, and it looks methylated, L-theanine, and 80 milligrams of natural caffeine. These, like, if you get that like afternoon slump, you know what I'm talking about, that afternoon slump, I'm telling you, the neural gum. You want to see what they look like? Like, I take them with me everywhere, okay? So I've been at my sister's a lot because she lost her spouse recently, and she has guardianship of her soon-to-be 4-year-old granddaughter. So, you know, I've been helping her transition because, you know, she's married for over 20 years together for 22 years. So it's a big transition for her. And so to keep up with the little one, to keep up with my own grandkids, neural gum, right? And as I was saying, like, if you suffer from that afternoon slump, you know the afternoon slump I'm talking about, right? It's not exactly right after lunch. I tend to have lunch between, depending on if I go live or not, between noon and like 2, right? Because I often actually fast until lunch. And so by like 2, I'm usually like starving, right? So I try not to wait until 2, but some days, depending on my schedule, it might be like 2 o'clock. And so what I like to do is try to not have something like heavy carbs, because that's one of the things that'll really like make me get that afternoon slump. So the afternoon slump for me can hit anywhere between like 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. And that's when I grab one of these, right? I grab one of these, and it's really nice and refreshing. Like, it's truly like a really good gum. This is like a peppermint flavor, I think. It doesn't say. I know they have different flavors, but it's like a minty. It's very, very minty. In fact, I love it with the knobs, the NOBS, the No BS toothpaste. This stuff. My daughter took a bunch of these too. The little tablets for the toothpaste. The cleanest and freshest your teeth will feel, aside from going to the dentist, right? Because it has like a little bubbling action to it when you brush. This stuff is incredible. And then I love to follow it up with the mouthwash, Swish. It's got aloe vera in there. So I do a lot of public speaking, clearly, right? I go live, I record a lot of video, I do a lot of podcast interviews, I do a lot of just video in general. I speak on summits. So dry mouth, right? So I don't want dry mouth. This stuff is great for preventing dry mouth. And then you add the gum to it. Now, if I'm speaking on a summit, I'm not gonna have gum in my mouth. I might have it in there up until it's time for me to be on stage. But yeah, so dry mouth. These are all the things minty and fresh. And I love that they are sugar-free, because sugar is a problem for me. I don't know about you, but sugar is a problem for me, right? Like red licorice, soda, the Dr. Pepper, Starry. And then I started with the little packets. You know the packets I'm talking about that don't have sugar in them. Some you can have aspartame, some don't. And that stuff is actually just as bad, from what I hear, for your system as actual sugar is. So I try to limit that stuff too. I try to like really have like the natural sugars from like fruit, you know. I try to limit myself to that. It's very difficult though with today's modern diet. Like, can I get some hearts or some comments if you find that avoiding sugar is really, really difficult, right? So a lot of personal development and spiritual development for me in my winter arc. And so earlier today, I was invited to attend a brunch where we did vision boards and that, and it was also networking. So we had this little jar and we pulled out questions at the table and we were networking and talking, and that came up about people's, you know, trying to go meatless for a certain period of time, trying to avoid sugar and things like that. Like, it's really, really difficult, right? Because you don't always have the time to make your own food and cook at home. But I can tell you from experience, that is where you will get a lot of gains, is if you do that, if you make that one change and you make more of your food at home versus ordering in. Like, I've been doing quite a bit for way too many months. I can't even just blame it on the holidays. Since like fall, like late summer. Because summer I don't feel so bad about, right? Because I've got I live in a walkable neighborhood, and there are some nice restaurants around here, you know, where you can go and get like fresh. I love Mediterranean food. You can get the burgers, you can get the bar food, but then there are spots that have like, you even can go on my feed and you will see videos of me, you know, with the hummus and, you know, the Mediterranean spread with the olives and all of that stuff, right? I live for that type of diet. And cucumbers, I love, love, love cucumbers. So the summer I had a lot more of that, but as it's gotten cool, the temps have fallen and the days are shorter, I tend to be in a lot more, and I really need to get to the grocery store, and I've been putting it off because of my schedule, and it's like, okay, I need to go to the grocery store, but I don't want to go to the grocery store if I'm going to be gone for 2 or 3 days, because I like to buy a lot of fresh ingredients. I have an ingredient house. Hey, my girl is here. Thank you for the love. I'm an ingredient house, right? I live alone. I'm an ingredient house, and so I don't like to order a lot of fresh ingredients. Jaquela is here if I am not going to be home, because the clock starts ticking once you get that stuff home and in your refrigerator. And now I've done my homework and I know how to store things and all of that so that they last a little bit longer, but still the clock is ticking. One day you just don't feel like cooking can really cost you, because now you got to throw stuff out, right? So in the fall, I really have just been eating badly, drinking badly, right? And so when this product came across my FYP, what is FUP? But I mean FYP, right? When this product came across my FYP, I was like, that is for me, right? This is for me. And when I heard Gluco Defend, I was like, this has to be a part of my winter arc. This is definitely a part of my winter arc. It's got the Ceylon, cinnamon, apple cider vinegar, turmeric, curcumin, berberine, and ginseng. So this is very similar. There are some major differences, but this is very similar to one of the products I was taking in 2022 and 2023 that helped me drop, I forget how many inches it was, but a lot of inches and some pounds, right? And I've honestly, other than 2 to 4 pounds here or there, I've kept it off. I've been able to keep it off, right? And so this arrived yesterday or the day before. So I know for me, 2 at a time is not a good idea, but neither was it with the other supplement that I took, and I just forgot that. So I immediately knew what to do, and I adjusted like one in the morning, one in the middle of the day, right? The other thing is they do advise that you drink water with it, like a full glass of water. So this is in the orange cart. It is the Glucodefend with Ceylon cinnamon, which is going to help with blood sugar maintenance. The ACV is good for digestive system, and turmeric and curcumin are going to be great for anti-inflammatory and for your skin also, right? Now, I'm not going to tell you that my skin looks like this because of this product, because I just got this product in. Okay, I've only been taking it for a couple days, but still very excited. Berberine is really good for blood sugar maintenance, right? Because if you are mid-century like I am, right, and you have a sugar problem, you know, the cravings in that, this is going to help suppress your appetite. It's going to help maintain your blood sugar, because when you can maintain your blood sugar levels, then you don't get those spikes and your blood sugar doesn't crash, right? That's part of where that afternoon slump comes from, because your blood sugar spikes and then it crashes, right? It also will help with your waistline too because of that, okay? So this is a great, great product. It's like 16 supplements in one, and that is what I like about it. So you can click the orange cart, and it will actually give you everything that is in there. I'm not going to bore you and read it off, but ginseng, the Panax ginseng was in another product that I was taking, and so it is also good for energy, but it's not caffeine. So I really like that. And there are some other things with ginseng, like clarity and focus and, you know, sharpening up the brain. Okay. So this is the Glucodefend, and it's 60 capsules. It's 2 a day. Some people take 1 a day. They take it first thing in the morning. There are people who say, did you hear about the girl who said like it helped her sleep? Well, I can't say she said it helped her sleep, but she said she sleeps very well. When she gets up and she takes one of these in the morning, she said, you know, her appetite has been suppressed, curbed, and she's even seen a difference in her waistline. There are those inches that I was talking about. So this is great if you have trouble with the sugar cravings. It's great if you eat the wrong things, right? It's going to help you with your digestion. ACV is great. Like, I'm loving the sodas with the ACV in there. You know, a lot of people will drink it with the mother, and this is ACV with the mother that is in the capsules, by the way. And so if you drink the ACV with the mother, I had to stop doing that because it's not good for your teeth. Okay, it's just not good for your teeth to be drinking that. I also love pickle juice, but you got to be careful drinking the pickle juice as well. And so this Glucodefend is a proprietary blend that is in here to help you really manage your blood sugar levels. Now, nothing that I am saying here is telling you to replace what your doctor has told you. I cannot give you medical advice. You still need to consult with your physician and use your own judgment, do your own research and all of that. I'm just telling you my experiences. You are responsible for yours and making your own decision. But Glucodefend, when I heard about this, I was like, I've got to try it. I absolutely got to try it. So I was able to get a free sample. They sent it here. Let me show you what the capsules look like. These are the capsules, 2 of them a day. Again, I personally cannot take 2 of them at the same time. That's just not good for me. I was getting a little bit of palpitations, okay? So 1 at a time, spread out, like 1 in the morning, 1 midday, and that was very similar to the other berberine, you know, blend that I was taking a couple years ago. So this is really, really good stuff. I'm really excited to see what it does for me and what happens in the next few weeks, okay? Because they sent me a sample in. I'm giving it a try. This is my 2nd day, and I will tell you. So I did have Uber Eats bring me food again today because I can't eat air, and I did not finish my meal. So that means calorie reduction, because that's really the only way to drop. The poundage is with some sort of calorie reduction. So you can burn more calories than you take in. You got to burn more calories than you take in, right? And so you can do that either way. You can reduce the number of calories, and then you can burn more with either supplements and or some sort of physical activity exercise, right? And so being able to know when to push away from the table is really good, okay? Because I will tell you, like I said, I've been able to keep off a lot of the poundage within like 2 to 4 pounds from what all I lost a couple years ago. But what I will tell you is some of the pounds and the softness have been creeping back in. And so, well, again, when I saw this come across my FYP, I had to give it a try, okay? Now, one of the other things I've done in the past to help with the poundage and maintaining a good weight for me is probiotics, right? Now, these are probiotic, this is vaginal probiotic gummies with prebiotic fiber and enzymes. So this, I'm 50. I'm in one of the pauses. So this is really good, right? I can't make medical diagnosis. I can't make medical claims, but there are people out there. You can watch their videos of some of the stuff that they tell you and like some of the things that are out there, right? Like there's a girl who has like a viral video. Her doctor fired her because they just can't figure out why she keeps getting the baby. You know what I mean? The baby. And one of the things that I know is good for baby is probiotics, right? So this is for your girly down there, but you're going to get some other benefits from it. So it's got prebiotic fiber and enzymes, and I love a trebiotic, right? Where it's got the prebiotic, the probiotic, and the postbiotic, but this is pre and pro. Okay, so it's got cranberry, UVA ursi, horsetail, demonose, prebiotics, and digestive enzymes, right? So much of the food that we eat, especially that is delivered to our door, is hard for our bodies to digest because a lot of times it's nutritionally devoid and it's so processed. It's just not meant for our bodies to, I was going to say decompose, but digest some of this stuff. And so having the digestive enzymes in there, that's why everybody likes like starter doughs, and everybody's making their sourdough starters, is because of the probiotic that is in sourdough bread, lactobacillus or something like that. You can look that up. Don't quote me on it. But, you know, having digestive enzymes in here and probiotics and prebiotics, because your prebiotic is going to feed. It's going to feed the probiotics. So you've got colonies in there that are growing on their own, and you're supplementing it every day, because honestly, there's this brain gut axis, and you know, aside from the pauses and diet and that, you know, having that good gut microbiome is only going to benefit you when it comes to things like brain fog. Okay, so this is, and when you think about where all your equipment sits, think about where your equipment sits. And you will understand how by focusing on your V area, it can still be helping with your gut microbiome and how it's all related and can play into brain fog and things like that. And think about some of the transmitted things and how if they go undetected, they actually like are not good for your brain. Think like Al Capone, you know what I'm saying? If you don't, go look it up. Okay, so this is Clean Nutra. This is a brand that I'm seeing a lot in the shop, and you know, I like it because there's a lot of transparency. This one is 2 gummies a day. They are good tasting. Now, you may know that I also take the pause gummies. Okay, I take the pause gummies that have the black cohosh, the red clover, wild yam, dim, chaseberry, magnesium, vitamins D3, B12, and more B6, okay? So this is going to be good for the flashes. This is going to be good for sleeping. And, you know, the only thing that I wish it had in here was ashwagandha. I wish it had some ashwagandha and maybe even some L-theanine in there for balance, because, you know, one of the things you're fighting in the pauses is that midsection, and a lot of that. Okay, so when we talk about the pauses, right, we're talking about, we often just think of like progesterone and estrogen, but the biggest hormone issue I've had is cortisol. Cortisol has been my biggest enemy. Cortisol, right? Cortisol has been my biggest enemy when it comes to the pauses. That's where the belly fat, that's where the circumference, the waist from stress, right? And all of this is related. Don't believe me? Go look it up. I am not a doctor. I am not giving medical advice. I'm just talking about my own experiences in my winter arc regimen, okay? So these two, I have them both from NutriClean. They are in the orange cart and you can grab them now, okay? So I have the two of those. The other thing I'm doing in my winter arc and have done for several years is I journal daily, right? I journal daily. I came on the other day and I talked to you, and we actually journaled together with the Miracle Journal, okay? I love the Miracle Journal because it is all about, it's basically a manifestation journal, right? And so there's lots of great art in here. It talks about how to manifest. We went through those the other day in our Journal with Me session. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, and so it gives you all these methods, right? We can read some of the affirmations together right now. And by the way, if it's still on flash sale, I would grab it now. And I would probably grab like at least 2 of them, if not 3 or 4 of them, just because that's just how I am. I like to have a blank one. I like to have an extra one. I didn't really want to write in it, but I did, okay? So it's got the methods in here. It's got the affirmations, and the 369 method is in here, but I did grab and was sent a sample of the 369 method journal, and we will go through that as well, okay? But this is a great way to really start the year. And, you know, because here's the thing, this past Friday was the second Friday in 2025, the second Friday of the year, which is consequently, of course, the second Friday in January. And they say that statistically, most people are done with their resolutions by the second Friday in January, okay? I don't really make resolutions. I make lifestyle decisions, changes. I do challenges, so I don't really make resolutions. I also don't do word of the year. I don't, because it's a whole year. Do you know how much can happen in a year? So I don't do word of the year. If you do, I'm not judging you. Only if you're doing it for the right thing, I don't judge you. If you're doing it because everybody else says you need to, then yeah, I might be judging you just a little bit, okay? So the Miracle Journal, like, I sleep with it. I'm gonna be real. I sleep with it because it is about welcoming miracles and, you know, really getting in tune with you and healing. And I love that one of the things that it talks about in terms of how do we manifest is your self-concept. That is a big block that a lot of us are struggling with. And when we went live and we journaled, and I talked about how even as someone with a very high regard for themselves, a lot of self-confidence, a lot of self-esteem, what I've discovered in recent years was I had some self-concept things and continue to have, but they get better. Why? Because I do things like this. I journal. I spend time with God every morning, and I spend time with myself every morning and in the evenings as well. So we will do more journal with me. I just don't want to I don't want to ruin somebody's proprietary information by going through the entire journal with you. So I'll pick different pieces, but the 369 method is in here. But you know, the 369 method, for it to really work, you want to do it for some time. So just 2 pages on the 369 method is not enough. That's why when they offered to send me the 369 journal, if you looked in my stories, you'll see me holding it up, because I was so excited to get this, because I've been hearing about this for over a year, and everybody writing it down and you know, talking about it. So it comes with this bookmark. There's a QR code for the app, and there are affirmations on the bookmark, right? And like all of these journals, because I also have the shadow work journal, there's a declaration of intent. There's a quote from Nikola Tesla in here. And there's tons of affirmations, 30 ideas for manifesting, tips to amplify your 369 practice, embracing the light within, giving you examples of how to execute on the 369 method, and it gives you history. It tells you, you know, what the 369 method, what it is, tells you, you know, about Nikola Tesla, and you know, how integrating 369 into your daily routine can help you unlock your true potential, which is what we're doing with our winter arc. Our winter arc is just a fancy term for what? Glow up season, right? So if you want to glow up, I definitely recommend the Miracle Journal along with the 369 journal, right? Because you're going to do this, but you'll do thank you for the love. You'll do the 369 every day, and it's going to give you the dedicated space for it. Okay. And let's talk about these affirmations, because I love some affirmations, right? It's part of my daily routine, right? So there's affirmations for abundance. There's affirmations for relationships. Thank you for the love. Thank you. Thank you. There's affirmations for wealth, right? There's affirmations for health too. Yep, for health, right? And so that's I just love this stuff. I really, really love it. So make January your opportunity to reset. Make January the beginning of your winter arc. I like to think of January as a reset. Which one is my favorite? Honestly, I wouldn't even pick between the two. I have the shadow work journal. I picked it up this summer, but honestly, the past few years, Carolyn, I've done so much of the deep work, the inner work, the dark work, that it's just a part of who I am. I do reference it and go back to it, but I was saying earlier, I don't know if you were on here, I actually sleep with this one in my bed. Like, this is bae. This is bae. The Miracle Journal, but I really wanted to do, because what I've seen other people do with 369, I really wanted to incorporate, because it's in here, but this gives me the physical space, because most of this book is actually, you know, the what are actions are you taking today? Morning, afternoon, and evening for your affirmations, because that's what the 369 method is you're writing your affirmations, you're writing your desires, your goals 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the middle of the day, and 9 times in the evening. And so what I do, yes, that holds you accountable. So what I do is I actually have reminders, alarms on my phone to remind me for my 3, for my 6, and my 9. I would show you, but I have reminders on my phone every day for gratitude, right? Gratitude is a part of the Miracle journal, but I started with a gratitude journal in 2022. And every day I wrote down 10 things that I was grateful for. And I don't mean they had to be like big grandiose things. It could be like, I'm grateful for the air that I breathe. I'm grateful that I was able to open my eyes and have sight this morning. I'm grateful for my voice. I'm grateful for the use of my limbs. I'm grateful that I'm able to hear my grandchildren's voices, which are so angelic to me. Because I remember as a single mom with undiagnosed anxiety, that was like one of my biggest fears, that I would not, that I would go deaf I wouldn't say biggest fears, but I would think about that. Man, if I would hate to go deaf and not be able to hear my kids' voices as they change. Okay? Because their voices change. Even from like 1 to 3 and 4, and then at 7 and at 10, their voices change. Okay? So I would definitely, for me, these are the 2 that I am focusing on. I do have the shadow work journal. I think it's over in my book, but I've shown that on other lives. They're all really, really good priced right now, and you can keep watching and catch them on flash sale. But yeah, I'm a big fan of both of them, and the shadow work journal. It's a little different. It doesn't have like all the methods in that. It's really more so you working through that unhealed trauma and stuff that you need to let go of, that you need to heal from, right? And we all have it. We all have it. No one is immune from it. No one is better than the other, because I know people who love to pretend like they don't have the trauma, like they're, that's just not them, like they have the perfect life. And even people with the perfect life, your parents could have been the very perfect parents, but life be lifing. And, like the movie Save the Last Dance. I love that movie. She had trauma around her mother having, had that accident and passed away. No, I mean, I went through a lot when my mom and grandmother passed away. Yeah. I always credit my grandfather passing in 2012 as being a big pivotal moment for me. It actually was before that, though. It was in 1999 when my sister passed away. It was. And then I probably should have taken some time off work, been, directed to, employee assistance programs and grief counseling. And that was 1999. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have Instagram. We didn't have TikTok to actually, be additional information for me to see that, where even if I wasn't getting that guidance, thank you, from work, from friends, from family, that I could see and come across that information online, right? So when my grandfather passed away in 2012, I wound up having to take leave from work because it just hit me like a ton of bricks. In fact, I was talking to my sister about this with her husband passing away not too long ago, that, because we're cut from the same cloth. We come from the same mother, right? So she's very task oriented, very list oriented, and going, and just getting back into the groove of things, right? And I'm like, take the time that you need. Take the time, acknowledge it, sit with your feelings. Don't be so quick to just, I said, because if you're doing like I did when Granddad died, I could hear him saying, don't be sitting up mourning me, don't be crying, get to work, get back to work. I'm just a man, right? But I needed to acknowledge and deal with the grief, and so I wound up having to take time. Okay, and I'm telling you, I've been using the social media to kind of come out of the shell. Good. Yes, one good thing my uncle told me was to get to know myself again and fall in love with being. I love that. I love that so much. I love that a whole lot, right? Like, I'm not going to get into the details of my sister's untimely death. She was only 21 when it happened. She had 2 children under the age of 2. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure you can tell it was completely unexpected, right? Like that brunch I went to earlier, when, it was all around jolts, right? What are some jolts and joys of 2024, right? And there were a lot of questions around your jolts or your joys. And so that was definitely a jolt for our entire family. And like most Black families, we don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about stuff, right? So it impacted my work. It impacted my career, and losing my grandfather really helped me to see how much of my life I was giving to corporate America and at what cost. what it was really costing me in terms of time with my family. And so that's why building a business, being the product, getting paid to exist is important to me, so that I am able to have that time with my family. Okay, I'm starting to sweat. And I'll have to say, I think that you're doing an awesome, thank you so much. Thank you. I kind of felt a little bad at the lunch. 'Cause people were talking about being depressed and different things. And I just wanted to offer a different perspective. It wasn't that I was bragging that I thought I was better than anyone, but I've done the healing work, right? I'm at a different point in my journey than other people are and may have been, because there were a couple people there who lost either a spouse or a partner, right? People were at various stages of life. Someone manifested their husband and quietly got married. They didn't put all their business online. People didn't even know she was dating, and she got married, and that inspired a lot of people. But that's where the shadow work journal comes in. Oh, I got some makeup on here. Let me wipe that off, because I ain't saying this is a Bible, but my journal, you can see, I marked it. I marked it up, right? I am working through. I just got this one, so I haven't written in, but I've been doing 369 in my my journal. Okay, so journaling, and when we talk about grief and that process with my grandfather and taking that leave from work, journaling was a huge part of that. I actually, when I was in middle school, we, for our English class, had to journal so many pages a day, and we had to turn it in to our teacher. In fact, it got a girl kicked out of school because she wrote how she hated the teacher and wanted to do harm to them. But anyway, so journaling is something that I've known and done for years. And then I said I wouldn't tell this story on another live, and so I'm telling it now. I would journal, and then in my 20s, my daughter's dad violated me and read some of my old journals and held it against me. And so I vowed then to not write what was going on in my head on paper, because he violated me and used what he read in that journal, which was written years before I even was with him. And that really should have been a red flag, and I should have just gotten out of that relationship, because what makes you feel so entitled to read my journal? That's such a violation of privacy, because if I had come across his, if he had one, I would not have read it, because I respect people's space and their right to privacy. So, and I think about, some of the struggles I had in life after that. And I was thinking about this earlier today, at that brunch, because it was the Revive and Thrive. This actually comes from it, right? Because we did vision boards. Revive and Thrive in 2025. So you can take a screenshot of that if you want to. And it breaks down what you can write about what you want your vision to be in these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 areas of your life, right? Career and business, relationships, health, finances, travel, spiritual growth, personal development, right? And so, what was I going to say here? I forgot. Because it's I got it in my hand. Thank you for liking the live, right? So what was I even talking about? That happens sometimes. Let me chew some gum, some neural gum. But yeah, you gotta have a vision. And I do believe in writing it down and the power of writing it down. But it was a great event. There was something about the event that I wanted to bring up, and I don't remember what it was. I don't remember. My vision board is down there too. What was I talking about? Visions. Yeah, you have to have a vision for where you want to go in life, but I don't remember what I was saying. I hate when that happens. You're welcome. I hate when that happens. But yeah, this is great. It was a great event. It was a great event, and being in the room. Oh, that's what it was. Okay. So we were there, and like so many women pulled out, and I took a notebook and a pen with me. I pretty much don't go anywhere, especially when I expect to be poured into, and be it just even in the presence of certain women and certain levels of women. I always take a notebook and a pen, right? Most successful women I know always have notebook and pen pretty much with them, right? And you could see around the room women having their notebook, and it wasn't a brand new notebook where they had notes, just notes. One of the things I have from my grandmother who passed away in 2020, 2 months before the shutdown, I have a notebook from her Bible study. Like, that is something, and I'm going to add to it so that it can go to my children and my grandchildren. Vision board creating. What is networking? What is a networking vision board event? So locally here, a member of the spiritual community, the religious community, the church community, she had this Revive and Thrive. It was a prayer and vision board brunch, right? So we got together, we prayed, and we worked on vision boards, and we fellowshipped and networked. I met new people. There were people there that I knew. I didn't know the hostess. She didn't know me. Now we're friends on Facebook. I'm on her list for when she has future events, because it was a great experience. And so what I was saying was, as I'm watching these women pull out the notebook and paper, and I was sitting there thinking, like, do men do that? Do men do that? Do men journal? Do men write things down? I do know that there are men that read, but do men read and write at the level that women do? I can tell you that I know there are men out there that do both. I believe more men read than actually journal and really take note, not just take notes, but actually journal. And I can just only imagine what the world would be like and how relations between men and women would be better if more men actually journaled. That was like a big poof for me today. It wasn't about the men today. It was about the sisterhood. It was about the women who are in that room, and the power of the mastermind where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, right? But if men had those outlets, if men, and that's what I loved about learning to journal in middle school, because it was not discriminatory. Everybody had to journal, boys and girls, right? Do you know what I really like? An intelligent man that could recall very well. Yes. Like, I'm not into himbos. I cannot do the himbo thing, which is like the male version of a bimbo. Yes, I believe they do it in a different way though. Okay, that's absolutely fabulous. Yeah. My memory is what it is, and I'm trying to improve. Writing it down. There is so much power in writing it down, which is why I really love the Miracle Journal, because it goes through a lot of things. Like, it's funny because I got a little stuck just a couple pages in on, like women who influence you, who's someone of a similar background, who made it big. Who are they? How do you relate to their story? And so one of the things I talked about was I really need to expand my circle again. It's time for me to get in some different rooms. And so then I wound up in this different room today and came across some women that helped me, because you're pretty much the sum total. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And so I needed to get in some rooms where I can see bigger vision. I can aspire and be inspired at a different level. And it happened today. Down to the point that I was online just a couple days ago looking for a new journal, because paper's getting low in my current one, and I'm about to pull out my next blank one. And I got in my goodie bag, I got a beautiful journal, right? So it really goes back to, you love going to Clubhouse. I haven't been on Clubhouse in years. It just really goes back to, you are what you think. You bring about what you think about. There's so much power in that. Okay, so how long have we been on here? Almost an hour and record views. I love it. I love it. I love it. So the Miracle Journal, the 369 journal, they're in the orange cart below. I recommend both. I love both. This was only like $6.99, and honestly, I had purple ticket rewards, so I only paid for shipping. Okay, I only paid for shipping. This one was a free sample. Thank you for the love. This one was a free sample, but I would gladly pay for it. I've still got the neural gum in my mouth, which is giving me the energy to be on here and be vibrant and bubbly at this time of night. I love the neural gum that is in there. I can honestly say the only thing that I might not would buy is the menopause one. I'm still taking it, but I don't necessarily take it every day. And here's why. There's an ingredient in here or something where it's like a hormone modulator. And I just got to look more into that. I will say it wasn't even really about that. It was because the first day or two I took these, I got a headache, but I don't get it when I take it anymore. And that's one thing I will tell you. When you're on here and you're grabbing supplements, don't take a bunch of new supplements at once. Because if you have a headache, you're not going, or some other reaction, you're not going to know where to look. And so then you got to start peeling back. Okay, so don't take this and see if you still get it. Don't take that if you still don't get it, right? So what I like to do is I don't start taking a bunch of stuff all at once, especially if it's ingredients or formulation that I have not taken before. Okay, I don't take a bunch of stuff all at once because, and I learned that very early on in my supplementation game, because then you don't know what might be causing your reaction. Okay, so this is the only one. I like it and I recommend it, but I have a little caution with it because of the hormone modulators. Okay, you have supplements that you take. I always recommend. Well, I can't say recommend. I think supplements are a great thing. Did you know there are things that your body can't make? So if your body can't make it, you got to take it. And we already know our food does not give us the nutrition that we need. So at the very least, most people probably should be looking at taking a multi-mineral and multivitamin. We are always taught to take the multivitamin, but it's the multi-mineral, especially if you're in the pauses, because your hormones, and there are more hormones than the progesterone and the estrogen, right? Because we think of testosterone, progesterone, and estrogen, right? And so you got to start balancing those hormones. And yeah, you are probably going to have to supplement to do that. Plus your food might have hormones in it and be impacting your hormones. It's all related. Magnesium, chlorophyll, fish oil, probiotics, vitamin D, collagen, but I spread them out. Yeah, I got a whole cabinet full of stuff. Like I didn't even mention like my fish oil, my magnesium. I take all of that. Magnesium, fish oil, collagen. Now, I'll be honest with you. What I was taught was that you can't get enough collagen in a capsule. So my collagen is in powder or liquid format, and often both. Vitamin D, CoQ10, I take for my own health and wellness. So yeah, you gotta one, go and take the test, do the lab work or whatever to see what you are deficient in. You're going to be deficient in something. I don't know why people think they're special and think they're not, but everybody gonna have some sort of deficiency. I actually need to get I need to get calcium back in my regimen for bone density, and I'm in the pause, so I need to get calcium back in my regimen, because the regimen that I was taking a couple years ago, it included it. None of this stuff has it in there, so I got to get back on a calcium supplement. Like, for example, did you know that when you take antacids, it destroys your calcium levels? So if you have heartburn and you're regularly taking antacids, you probably need to Look into that, right? And calcium and what is it? Calcium and something, when you take it together, it's basically like melatonin. It will lay you out. Calcium is definitely good for the bones and blood flow. Yeah. So, this time of year, vitamin D is great. Usually I think it's D3 and K2, and some things you got to take together for absorption. Taking it is one thing, but it actually getting absorbed is another. And that's with the glucodefen. It's got pepper in there. Why is black pepper in there? So that you absorb the turmeric in the curcumin. It's curcumin. I used to say it wrong all the time. People would look at me like I was crazy instead of telling me the correct way to say it. But it's curcumin. I think I was saying curcumin. I had the R in the wrong place. So that this has black pepper in there for that reason, so that you are actually absorbing. So out of everything I've talked about, what's your favorite? It doesn't happen often, but I will butcher a name or a word every now and then. So what's your favorite of everything that I've shown you tonight? What would you be most interested in? What your winter arc? What you doing for your winter arc? Which product would you like? The knobs, those toothpaste tablets. Like, I don't know that I'll ever go back to regular toothpaste. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't see myself going back to regular toothpaste. Those things are awesome. Like the bubbling in your mouth just feels so fresh and so clean and so minty. And the mouthwash is incredible. Yeah, the neural gum. They're sending me something else, some mints. I can't remember what, but I will go live and share those and talk about those. The gum, and it's always on like some sort of there's been a lot of flash sales on it recently, so I would definitely get it. I know they also have a cinnamon now, so that's probably what I will be ordering for my restock is the cinnamon, and they have spearmint too, because I love spearmint gum. Ooh, I have those. I love the mint. The mint. I have the mint. Yeah, so the Swish mouthwash is incredible. It's got a really sweet minty to it, but again, it's sugar-free, and it's just so refreshing. I love that it has aloe vera in there. The glucodefen also has aloe in there. Okay, so aloe has healing properties. It's going to help heal your digestive tract and other things. So it's got aloe in there. And then the aloe in the mouthwash really helps. Like my mouth hasn't gotten dry not one time since we've been chatting. No cotton mouth. And I'm a mouth breather. I mean, I'm a mouth breather. I'm a mouth breather. So when I sleep, I've been told I snore. I deny it. I categorically deny it because number one, I'm too cute to snore. And number two, I've never heard myself doing it, so I don't believe it. Okay. So, especially this time of year, being a mouth breather and sleeping, you can wake up with the dry mouth, and I tend to sleep under a fan too. Okay. I don't tend to sleep under a fan. It's got to be like really negative below zero for me to turn that fan off. So I can wake up with the dry mouth. You're laughing at me. And so this is great because I haven't had the dry mouth. I haven't woke up with dry mouth since I've been taking this, and I brush 2 to 3 times a day and gargle after each time. And it's got the aloe in there. And there's another ingredient too. I can't remember what it is, but that's what helps keep the mouth from getting dry. Now, if you have health conditions where, you've used specialized mouthwashes and that, you know what I'm talking about? Like type 2. You can, I can't say I would recommend this, but I would recommend looking into it. How about that? I would recommend looking into it because I know that's something that people who have that tend to suffer from is dry mouth. because I've got several members in my family with it. And, you know, and it's not high in, there's no sugar in it. Okay, I'm going to have to step away. I was making dinner but wanted to stop and say hello, my friend. I appreciate you, Carolyn. I appreciate it. I hope that you have a wonderful night. Yeah, I'm getting off of here soon. Thank you, and same to you. Thank you for all the support and the engagement. I can smell the, and by the way, how cute is this container? How cute is this bottle? Is this not cute? I plan on keeping it and using it as like a canteen for water. I love it. It's so cute. I was like, that's different. That is really, really different. But it's natural. You know, you can look up the ingredients. It's alkaline and alcohol free. So I really like it. It's strong, but not in like a old school Listerine strong kind of way. If you know what I mean. You've been around and you know that old school Listerine with that really strong clove flavor. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're welcome. That is so adorable. Yeah, I love the color. Yeah, because it's minty, and that's what it gives the impression of minty. And the toothpaste tablets are also really minty, and they were generous. They sent me, I think this was 180 or something like that, but it's a lot. It's got xylitol, natural mint flavor, microcrystalline. Yeah, that, where are my readers at? Did I? Let's pull out the readers. Okay, so microcrystalline cellulose, anionic surfactant from coconut oil, calcium carbonate, calcium hydroxy something or other. Yeah, a bunch of fancy words. But see, y'all can't just think that just because it's a fancy word that it means it's man-made. We got to be more educated than that. Xanthan gum, sodium, a bunch of stuff I can't pronounce. Menthol, zinc citrate, and sodium bicarbonate, so baking soda. So I'm telling you, it bubbles. You chew it, and then you use a wet toothbrush. I've used both my manual and my spin toothbrush. I can smell the mint. I love peppermint. It smells so good. And it tastes good when you have it in your mouth, and your mouth is just so, like, honestly, my mouth only feels this clean for the couple days after you go to the dentist and you get a tooth cleaning. Now, you still need to do that. I'm not saying this replaces going to the dentist and you know, getting your teeth cleaned, but on a day-to-day basis, this stuff is fabulous. Like, your mouth, like, it's very refreshing, and your mouth feels so clean after this, right? Like, I actually ordered their tongue scraper too, okay? Because I started looking at there was a picture I posted, and I was like, oh, my tongue looks white. I was kind of embarrassed, right? So, but your pre-pro and postbiotic will help with that, okay? So I actually think I'm going to get ready to go too. I thank you all for being on here. Oh, I thank you all for being on here. I definitely go, this is your last call, go grab what's in that orange cart. There's a lot of things that are on flash sale right now. But your winter arc, this is your glow up season, and I believe in glowing up from the inside out. Your glow should come from the inside out, and that is your totality. That is working on yourself at the spiritual level, on the personal level, right? Because a lot of people get confused and they think spiritual development and personal development are the same thing, and there's some overlap, but they're not. You got to work on both, right? You know, it's the mental, it's the emotional, it's the spiritual, the physical, and then you know, the health wise, like, you'd be amazed. Like, I was ready to get into bed rotting mode, because that's how January can go for me. January can be a real tussle. I live in Wisconsin. I'm only like an hour north of Chicago, but I am live in Wisconsin, and it can get very dark and very gloomy this time of year. And so, you know, it could be very easy working from home to have bed rot. I know people that struggle with, we were talking about this earlier today, not just bed rot, but okay, so you got out of bed, are you going to get dressed today? You know, working from home, there's a side to working from home that people don't talk about, right? Like, depending on what other things you have going on, people lack on their hygiene. All kinds of stuff happens when you work from home, right? There's a lot of benefits to it, but there can be some downside to it if you don't get on top of it. And for me, you know, that's the trending sound is your winter arc, but you have to get on top of it. You have to manage you. You have to know your seasons and get ahead of it and plan and get your routine and do what it is you need to do. Because like I said, January can be a tussle for me. It can go one of two ways, right? In 2019, 2020, it was bed rot for me before that was even a phrase. I would just literally roll over, open my laptop, and work from bed. And I put on like 40 pounds. That's why I had to do something different in 2022. You know, it started with probably like 20 pounds, but then when the shutdown happened, next thing you know, it was like 40 pounds later. And it started with bed rot, right? It was from like January through like mid-March. And then by then I started like, girl, what is you doing? And so I started, you know, we couldn't go outside. So I'm in this organization called Polka Dot Powerhouse, and they were having these positivity calls. And I started getting on those because I needed to do something, right? Because when the shutdowns first happened, I ain't gonna lie, as an introvert, I was kind of excited. I was like, yes, introverts rule the world now. But it was a tough time because my daughter and grandson, my children and grandson lived over an hour away. And so I didn't get to see my grandson. And if anybody knows me, knows he's the love of my life. And my daughter was pregnant with my granddaughter. And I had a lot of concerns, a lot of anxiety about her giving birth during that time. And I wasn't going to get to be there because they were only allowing one person. And so the dad was there, not me. And so that really started to take its toll on me. And that's why I started joining in on these positivity calls and filling my calendar and, you know, getting back to me. So, you know, things I've done in January in the past is I've like just had a challenge where it's like, hey, if you struggle with January, I'm going to send out a motivational video every day. Not for me, but just different motivational videos, and, you know, do post in this group so that we can all kind of uplift each other and keep our head on tight during January. Because, like, it doesn't get, I'll call it clinical for me, and I don't mean that in a derogatory term. It just gets challenging for me. And then one day, like, I just come out of it. It's more like a funk for me. But for other people, it can be a lot more intense. And nothing I say replaces, you know, seeking professional help. And again, I'm overcompensating here because I come from a background where sometimes people say things like getting professional help and they totally mean it as a slam. I don't mean it as a slam. I don't at all. So it is probably time for me to go have my almond milk cocktail, which is not really a cocktail, but almond milk has melatonin in it. So I'm going to go have some almond milk. I'll actually make it golden milk with turmeric in it. Just a little bit though, because I've got it from the glucose. So I'll make almond milk with some cinnamon and nutmeg and a little bit of turmeric and some ginger, and that will help me sleep. And I got the Rise, you know, the Rise mushroom coffee. They have a probiotic coffee creamer. So actually last night it was like a shake because their creamer is very creamy. I bought their ritual set. They actually sent me their day and night. They sent me the mushroom coffee and then cocoa. I'm allergic to chocolate. I can't stand the smell of hot chocolate. Like, it's really, really gross to me. Like, it makes me want to vomit. Their smells good though, because it's got the MCT oils in it. So I don't really mess with that. I wish they would make a white chocolate one, or add, because it's got like sleep stuff added to it, like glycine, and I think it has L-theanine and, you know, some of the mushrooms in that. So anyway, last night I actually just mixed a little bit of protein powder, collagen, the Rise creamer, the probiotic creamer, and almond milk. And it was like a vanilla shake. It was so good. So I might do that again tonight, because I really probably don't need any more turmeric. Because, you know, if you take too much turmeric, you might start to smell a little earthy. And we don't want that. We do not want that. So anyway, sorry, you just saw my gum in my mouth. So I'm going to go so I can spit this gum out. Because I don't want to be up all night. Go turn on SVU or something on Netflix and make my little milk cocktail and go to sleep. And if you haven't already, make sure you follow me and turn on notifications so you know when I go live again. Because I am like, I don't know if you remember when Steve Harvey on The Kings of Comedy, and he talked about how if black people had been on the Titanic when it was going down, how Earth, Wind, and Fire would be unplugged and stuff when it would be going down, how the band went down, you know, they played down to the very end. That's me with this app. I ain't going nowhere until the fat lady sings, until it's over. I am here. I'm loving the content. I mean, like, the things you learn on this app, like learning that Jimmy Carter and Berry Gordy are basically related. They share an ancestor. I learned that on this app today. There are a lot of things that I would not know if not for this app. Now, I don't mean that I heard it and just took it as gospel. Like, no, I looked it up. I heard it here and then I looked it up and verified it and fact checked it. And they share an ancestor. Isn't that wild? And Jimmy Carter knew, and he acknowledged it. And it's and I think is it New York Times or the New Yorker article? You can look it up. You can look it up. So yeah, I know people are freaking out. I'm not. It can go either way. I've always had an omnipresent marketing strategy, so I will be fine. Wait, I missed it. Yeah. I saw a video today. Jimmy Carter and Berry Gordy from Motown. They share an ancestor. I think it's Berry Gordy's great or great-great-grandfather, and they're not in the same generation. So this way the story goes. Thank you. Oh my God, thank you so much. So the way the story goes is Jimmy Carter, his great-grandfather or grandfather, I forget his name, but his last name was Gordy. So this is on Jimmy Carter's mother's side. He held enslaved people. So he had a wife, but then he also had children by an enslaved woman. You follow me? Last name Johnson, right? She gave birth to Berry Gordy, not the Berry Gordy that we know, but his grandfather. Okay? So, and then his grandfather had another son named Berry Gordy, but they had a nickname for him. And then that's who fathered Berry Gordy from Motown. So he had basically his black family, which we know happens, right? Same with Thomas Jefferson. So he had his black family, and then he had his, for lack of a better phrase, legitimate family, his white family, right? And so he had children there, and I can't remember if it's a mother or a father, but they are the parent of Jimmy Carter's mother, who was a Gordy not a Gordy. She was a Gordy by birth, but then obviously her name changed when she got married, right? So yeah, they share an ancestor. So they're basically like distant cousins. They share an ancestor. In my family, they would still be considered cousins. But y'all know how that goes. Y'all know how that goes. So, you know, there's more of that than anybody cares to admit or realize. But Jimmy Carter, being who Jimmy Carter was, he knew, and he acknowledged it. He knew. He said it was true. But that's what they said in the article and on this video that I saw. So thank you guys so much for following me. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the diamonds. I know that is insane. Like that, like literally blew my mind when I saw that today. And I'm like, this is why they want this app to go away. That's why they don't want us learning this stuff, right? And I will never think it's possible for me to know everything, but I've learned a lot more about my history in life than a lot of people have. But I'm still not all that well versed in history. I'll be the first to admit it. And so some of the things that I've learned on this app, and it's like, where are we going to get that kind of information, right? Because it's easy to say we're going to go to another app, but are they going to allow us? Like, this app was literally created for what it does. So I really, I'm holding the faith that it's not going anywhere, and I'm going to be here till it sinks. Okay, so make sure you hit that follow button and turn on notifications. What's up? It's time to go. I'm leaving because I think some of the different crowd might be showing up, and I'll be here for that. I don't get out like that. So bye. I'll talk to y'all later. Make sure you follow and hit that that button and turn on that bell for notifications.